Welcome to MetalCon in Frankfurt 2025, boys and girls. Now we're gonna have a look at all the lovely gear that a bunch of incredible pro audio brands are showcasing here at MetalCon. Follow me. I am here at the Klanghabitat booth here at MetalCon with Kristian.
Kristian, yes.
To check out one of the most exciting products that I have tested in the recent weeks. And that is both the Lyra plugin and the Cassiopeia tube hardware saturation box. What can it do for us?
It is a saturation box based on a tube. So everything you expect from a saturation unit, that's what it can do for you. Overtones, harmonics, distortion.
Going from pretty subtle, I would say like mastering grade kind of saturation.
That's really right.
Up to something pretty intense.
Initially it definitely targets the masterings, the subtle domain, but if needed, of course, you can drive it hard for using in sound design, whatever, to crush something. It will also do that job, of course.
You know what I just did? I used the plugin. This is the multiband version called Lyra MB.
Yes.
And I used it, I was mixing a death metal song for a French band called Benighted. And I ended up using this one, especially like the high mid saturation on the vocals, to push them here, on the snare, to push it here, on the guitars, and on the bass. It just worked on everything. And I actually really enjoyed that it was so simple to use.
Thank you for the compliment, because that was initially the idea, have minimum amount of controls, because I'd say minimize to maximum sort of thing. It's not a one-knob plugin, but it gives you the right amount of controls you need. Yeah.
3-knob. And how did you start? Cassiopeia is the single band hardware version. That's what you started with, right?
Yes, correct. We started out in the 500 series rack because for us as a young startup still today, it was the most feasible approach to go there. We do have Cassiopeia, which is the stereo version, but we also ship Lyra, which is the mono version, also in matched pair. We also ship it in cubes, which is basically the Elysia cubes. Many of you guys are familiar with.
Which means if you don't have a 500 rack, you don't need one.
We got you covered with that. So we also ship the emulation plugins. We also developed in-house simultaneously to the hardware. And next iteration, of course, is the racked version, which we see the first time here today in our little rack here, which is pretty much the same as you'd expect from the predecessors, but we included also additional filters in the wet circuit, so you can shelve your saturated material. Okay,
and it's going to be black like this?
Well, I think so. I saw it yesterday the first time. We literally made it in time. Of course, all the electronics I had for quite some time, but yesterday we put it together for the first time for the MetalCon here.
It looks very MetalCon-ish.
Yes, of course. We heard quite some people asking for a bit darker version, so we went dark, I'd say.
All the way. I love it with the green combination. I really like it.
We still keep the DNA. We kind of like details. Maybe that's a bit of a German thing, because everything is made in Germany. Yeah, pretty much.
And it sounds great. So that's the most important part. So believe me, I'm really excited. So if you want to make your life a little more saturated, maybe start checking out the plugin. That's the easiest way to get it. And check out the hardware as well. It's really, really cool. And I'm not even a saturation guy, because the music I work on is pretty saturated already. But I really enjoyed this, and I'm happy I got introduced to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are at the wonderful Fryette booth here at MetalCon, and you guys know that I've been using a lot of Fryette gear lately, their Deliverance amp and their cabs, but during my masterclass here, my guitar miking masterclass, I also used the almost brand new Fryette C-Max amp switcher, which you can see here, where you can switch between 4 different amps and 4 different cabinets. And one thing I love that I've never seen anywhere else is an automatic impedance switching system, which means that you can connect amps or cabinets with a different load. So you can have a 16 ohm cab and an 8 ohm cab and still switch between the same amplifier on 8 ohm, and the CMAX is going to take care of the total load for you. And for example, sometimes I combine 2 4x12 cabs that are 8 ohm in parallel, which gives me a total load of 4 ohm. And then there are some amps, like my good old Engel Savage 60 or like my Orange Rockever 50, who can't take 4 ohm. And with this box, I can make it happen. So that's really cool, makes it even more flexible. I'm gonna check it out in the studio very soon, and probably you're gonna see a video about it. Fryette. I am here at the Harrison Audio booth with Kristian, and Harrison Audio have released 2 brand new fantastic products. As you might know, I am already in love with their mic pre and their equalizer, and it really excites me to see that they have put both of those products into one channel strip. And I really love channel strips, because channel strips,
everybody loves channel strips.
But people might not know that a channel strip is actually more than just a combination of a preamp and an EQ. In this case, also a lovely sounding high and low pass filter. You also have a fader, you have a routing, you actually have a mix bus. But why don't you let me know the details?
This channel strip is directly taken from our flagship 32 Classic console. Exact same microphone preamplifier, exact same filter set and the famous equalizers. But we didn't stop here. We also added a summing function for our channel strips. So there is the possibility to build your own 32 Classic Harrison console in a 19-inch rack format.
That means one of those becomes the master, so to say?
Exactly.
And then you just add as many as you want?
Exactly.
And you link them with a special link cable?
Exactly.
And then you can mix the output of every channel into that mix bus?
Exactly.
Exactly. And the cool thing about channel strips, again, is that you have several inputs. So you have a mic input. By the way, mic input on the front, thumbs up.
We have also one at the back.
Right. Thumbs up, double thumbs up. And there's a line input as well. So you can switch, right? For recording, you use this one. And then later for mixing, you can route something back from the DAW and use the EQ or just the summing. And what's even better, you can see I've already looked at this. What's even better is that you only need one power cable.
Okay, you're an expert. I don't need to tell you anything.
No.
This is a really nice feature.
Yeah.
There are 2 power connections, and you can link each channel strip to the next one. So at the end, you just need one power cord to the power supply.
Yeah.
Let me add one really cool thing.
Even more, okay.
Yeah, because we have several outputs. We also have an insert send return. Oh. But what I mean is that we have a pre-fader and a post-fader output. And of course, you can use them both at the same time.
And you mentioned it, switchable insert. That is so cool. So if you have a compressor,
exactly.
You can just turn it on and off. Harrison Audio, check out the new channel strip. It's cool. I am here at the wonderful booth of PSI Audio from Switzerland, and we are using a lot of their studio monitors here at MetalCon in the main control room, but also in my little pop-up studio. And I'm here with no other than Jan, who's gonna talk about
the concept of the speakers of the brand and the active bass trap also.
Which I have shown in a video already, yeah.
Yes.
Active bass trap that you can simply take with you.
It's a quite good solution if you got problems with your room modes. You have a position in your room where there's absolutely no bass, and then in another place it's just huge and humongous. So we got a little solution which you can see here, which is an active bass trap, which basically works like a membrane absorber but active.
Let's talk about the speakers. I'm using a three-way system. You're also showing some huge main speakers that Nolly is right now using for his drum session with Krim.
Yeah, correct. So PSI Audio has a tradition of more than 45 years of producing speakers. And their concept is that they are fully analog. So there's no DSP inside. And what they do is the same what other people do with DSP, they do with the electronics. Okay. So they have perfect phase alignment of the speakers. They got this thing that's called adaptive output impedance, where every little speaker's impedance is continuously measured and controlled so that the speakers get to their null position in no time.
Okay.
So very fast transient response then, and very good phase alignment.
And no digital bullshit.
No digital bullshit. No, digital is good in its own rights. Every system has its give and takes, but it's the concept of the brand. And the big thing with that is you can use it for more than 20 years. And if anything will have a fault, you can send it back to Switzerland. They can repair it and it gets back into the production studio in no time. Yeah. And what they also do, they calibrate every single speaker, not one from one production line, but every single one is measured in an anechoic chamber.
So you have match pairs without having match pairs because everything is matched?
Yeah, sure. You can now go with the new main system, and if you if it happened to be that you want to have an immersive setup, you can just straight from the line buy smaller ones and get it into your setup, and it's not a problem.
And I gotta say, personally, I'm a fan of no-nonsense speakers. So as you know, I'm using Amphion. I also like ATC. Yes. And the PSIs that I've been using for the first time also sounded kind of familiar to me. Thank you. That was great.
All brands you mentioned, they have a big tradition and heritage in broadcast. Yeah. So also ATC, PMC, for Amphion, I don't know, I believe also, and with PSI also. They built the Studer speakers back in the day.
All right.
And then from that, they developed it further and are now in very big studios all over the world. And since 45 years straight.
Yeah. I'm still trying to convince them that they bring me to Switzerland so I can check out the factory. We're working on that.
Yeah, we get to that.
All right.
Not a problem.
Thank you very much, Jan.
Appreciate it.
Let me interrupt you for a second. In case you don't know what MetalCon was, this was the very first MetalCon studio session in Frankfurt, and it was a blast. We invited some of the best metal producers out there to do masterclasses, workshops, panels, live mix reviews, and just to have a lot of fun together. And there were also some workshops about Dolby Atmos, mixing in Atmos. That means we had a fully equipped Atmos room, and Genelec provided the speakers. Thanks a lot for that. We had Stefan Buhmann there mixing Opeth and Atmos and much more. So people could actually hear a full Atmos setup very often for the very first time. And we also had David from Dolby there. And now I'm going to pass it on to him because he's going to talk about metal and Atmos. Enjoy.
I'm David from Dolby, and we're here at MetalCon 2025. And we're trying to explore how heavy metal can be mixed in Dolby Atmos. I think many people have actually not heard heavy metal in Atmos yet. Many people probably still connected with stereo and think you need all the guitars to be in your face from the left and right loudspeaker and that's it. But actually guitars can still be in your face but come from more than two loudspeakers. So rather than a wall of sound, it can be more like a room of sound. So really having the guitars all around you. There are so many elements beyond just the guitars and the drums. There's usually so much depth to the productions that having the whole room, the whole three-dimensional space available to place all these elements can be super exciting. And I really enjoyed listening to metal productions here. And what I especially enjoy is being right in the middle of this mix in the middle of all that music, having the guitars all around me, the drums in front and over me, being able to still hear distinct elements like the little sound effects that might get lost in stereo, but here in Atmos they have a place, they have space, so I can really listen through the song and hear a lot of different elements. Working in metal in Dolby Atmos is a lot of fun. You have so many creative possibilities. This kind of music is so deep, has so many layers and layers and levels, and it's just great to have the space to put them all to shine. So I think you will really love working in Dolby Atmos in this genre. So I would just encourage everybody to give it a try. So it's built into most of the common audio workstations, so you don't need to learn a new audio workstation. You can actually get started just with headphones. So literally put up a pair of headphones, check out one of the tutorial videos online, just give it a try and see what it can do for your music.
I am at the booth of Audioscape from Florida, and they're known for making some rather good sounding clones of the classic designs, 1176, Pultec, LA2A, and so on. What makes them special?
They do everything by their own, meaning there are meanwhile 40 guys sitting in Daytona Beach.
So it's all made in Florida?
All made in Florida. And the guys, it's like new old stock components. They really check how it originally was and try to get as close or even better if possible.
Yeah.
You have to imagine it's like one garage, but it's blown up that 40 people can sit there.
Wow.
And they do the real thing, This is the real deal. And it's quite affordable.
This is, by the way, Lars, I forgot to introduce you, who
Hello.
is responsible for the distribution in Europe, right? Yeah. For European customers, do you have service here, or do you have to send back?
No. We have two guys sitting here, and they service everything you need, like full warranty.
And he's a nice guy. Yesterday after a few beers, when I wasn't allowed to drive anymore, he gave me a shelter. So I just stayed at his flat and had a few more beers on his balcony. Good guy, sells good gear, and I gotta say, everybody should own at least one Pultec.
For sure. And also, we have, meanwhile, the stereo edition of the EQP, which is also...
So this one is mono?
This is all mono, what sits in here.
Okay.
This is the stereo rack, but this unit has come out in stereo also.
Everybody should have a stereo Pultec. It's so cool for tracking, but also for mixing. It's easily recallable, even in the digital age. Okay, so these are all classic units. Over here, I see something rather special.
Yeah.
This is a reverb, right?
Yes.
Let me try to explain it. So this seems to be a spring reverb.
Correct.
And you can actually adjust probably the level of two reverbs at different frequencies. So I have one knob for, 600 hertz, one for 150, the one for the highs, the mids, the lows, and so on.
Correct. But what's very special, you have different tuned springs sitting there in a raw, and depending on the frequency, you gain this spring. In the end, it's, I think, 10 springs sitting in there.
Okay. So it's different springs sitting in there.
Yeah. Wow. And this is also a replication of a unit which never was very famous. And the original owner of this product is still also involved in the reverb.
Okay. Then we have DBX.
Well, that's something everybody knows, right?
Yes, everybody knows. We have an LA3A. We have the classic SSL mix bus compressor. And what's this tank? I see a lot of tubes.
There's sitting 9 tubes in there. ASA6A. It's RCA. Yeah, replication mono. The only thing they added here, and I think that's very clever, is that you have attack and release time, because the original didn't have that.
Right.
But besides that,
looks very sexy. So go out and check out Audioscape from Florida. Thank you very much.
thank you.
I am here at the Elysia booth with Stefan, and you know what? I'm familiar with pretty much all the Elysia products except for one, and that is a saturation distortion box called Character with a K. I like that you can see here in the 500 version. Tell me more.
Right, as you said, characters and saturation / distortion box, but I would call it more a distortion box. It can do subtle saturation if you're using the mix control or the MS feature to dial in subtle effects, but it's more meant like cranking it up. And
so for single tracks to really give it some audible distortion.
Yeah, you can.
Not just for masterings like
No,
something
not the overtone spectrum sparkle that you would more feel than here. No, it's for distortion, but also for bus applications. So if you have a drum bus or a guitar bus or the mix bus, and it's built dual mono or stereo or MS, whatever you want.
Stereo means I only need to like one row of knobs.
Exactly. In stereo mode, you only have to address the left row of knobs for the whole stereo field, and dual mono would obviously be both rows, and in MS mode, it is mid and side.
And I can tell you, it is really extreme. I heard it on drums yesterday, and you can really turn like a normal drum kit into a fuzzy hell.
Yeah.
It's if you know the band Igor, it sounded like their drums in the end. Really cool. So what can I do here? I have a drive knob. I understand that.
Yeah.
I have a color knob. What is that doing?
It's a filter network that determines the frequency range where your distortion should take effect. So you can tweak it and colorize your distortion effects.
Darker and brighter, or like,
exactly this,
okay.
yeah.
And then we have a mix knob, which is always handy.
Yeah.
And there's a few buttons. That's
the buttons, yeah. They are switching to different distortion characteristics. You can have more fat style distortion or more tube style distortion in 2 stages. To crank it really up to 11.5, I would think. And
0.666.
Yeah, of course. And just to address the MS feature or the stereo link or dual mono mode.
And how is the distortion achieved? There's no tube in there, but like, is it?
No, it's a diode network.
A diode network,
Yeah.
and then you can like simulate like the typical tube or
Right.
JFET characteristics.
Yeah, it's not exactly tube saturation because there are no tubes in it.
Sure.
Elysia doesn't stand for tube sound.
No.
But it's more like in the direction for tube distortion type.
I'll check it out, and so should you, Elysia. We are here at the Gyraf audio booth at MetalCon. Highly sexy analog outboard gear. But I'm not here with somebody from the company. I'm here with an actual user. Kristian from Klanghabitat. They also make some sexy saturation gear, but you happen to be a user of this rather special or unique EQ, which is called the Gyratech, what is it?
G23-S.
What makes it special?
Or where to begin? I mean, someone of the company, because that company is literally just one person.
In Denmark?
In Denmark, that's Jacob. Jacob is building all his units, literally all by hand. So just to begin with, the G23 is a tilt EQ.
Stereo?
It is stereo. I think all his units are stereo units.
Okay, nice.
So yes, not dual mono, pure stereo.
Nice.
If you see the layout of the unit, you have one big knob. That's what it's all about. It's the tilt. He literally calls it low or high, so you can have it brighter or darker.
So tilt means it shifts the frequency response and just makes it
exactly
brighter and thinner or fatter and darker, right?
Sort of. It's followed by a back sandal EQ.
Nice. Which means like the frequency curve of your typical hi-fi.
Sort of, yeah.
Right? I think that's where they use back EQs, right?
Yeah, tilt as well. I think tilt you find in hi-fi systems as preamplifiers quite commonly. And the output stage is either tube-based or solid state.
So that means it's a passive EQ, right?
Correct.
So you have an amplifier sitting after the EQ.
Sort of, yeah. The beauty of it is sort of subtle. Okay. And it always feels natural. Okay. I mean, that's why I personally love it so much, because especially the tilt design, it's always musical.
Yeah.
I mean, literally hard to make it sound bad. I mean, definitely. So all his units, I'd say it's mainly for mastering, because we saw it here in mastering courses, also well implemented. So that's where they really shine. And yeah.
What I like about it is that it looks so idiot-proof. It looks like a guitar amp. You know, you have like highs, mids, lows, frequency, It's like darker, brighter, output, boom.
Yeah. So you set it in 20 seconds and then you just leave it there.
Cut out the rest of the video. Leave the last 20 seconds. Thank you very much. Check
welcome.
out Gyraf and check out Klanghabitat.
Hi, this is Marcel from Genelec, and we are here at MetalCon Frankfurt 2025. So Finland loves metal, and because we are a Finnish brand, of course, we have a deep relationship to metal music in general. I would say that this musical genre in general is challenging for the one who is mixing it. So, of course, the speakers need to deliver clarity, and they have to really should help you, to really understand what's happening. But in general, the arrangements and the genres itself, it's not easy to mix that. So you really have to know how to get, punchy drums in addition, for example, to the walls of guitars, in addition to vocals. And to do that in a proper way, you need a speaker that has high resolution and also offers usually a good full range experience. What we are having here is a 714 Dolby Atmos setup. So we have a general 7.1 as our main layer, and then we have 4 speakers at the ceiling. And if you have that many channels, this offers you space because you can now work with the room in a way that would not be possible with stereo only. And this is a huge advantage because if arrangements are complex, if you have, a lot of stuff happening at the same time, you can just operate in a way that you can free everything, so you can make sure things can come through. Actually, what's always funny, of course, is to discuss with people how they see the potential of Atmos. Do they see it? Are they, willing to enter this world and to also, try out how you can produce with that? And of course, we have it a lot of times that we just discuss, for example, is it still a band playing in front of you and you have room information coming from behind and above? Or do you really say, hey, there is no problem with, for example, spreading drums to the sides and things like that. But this can be really interesting discussions because some people have strong opinions about that. So yeah, it's not really obvious. And in general, I think what we can deliver here is a very, very precise experience of Dolby Atmos because not many people have this option, at home, that you really have full range speakers at all positions. And we are using point source speakers, which means that you have a really wide sweet spot. So even if you're not perfectly in the sweet spot, if you're a little off axis, you still get, the right tonality. And the most important thing usually is that you also have the ability to somehow know your room so that you can calibrate and that you can just, react to the acoustics and the challenges of the room to get a way better experience.
Cheers, everybody. Prost. It is beer o'clock at MetalCon. 3 days of madness, and it has been amazing. We're about to wrap up, and I am standing in front of this beautiful studio desk here. This one is the Gustav from Sessiondesk. They make amazing studio furniture. And you know what? One of the people who attended MetalCon will win this thing here. And this is a special version of the Gustav because it is entirely pitch black, super dark, super heavy metal. So, coming to MetalCon makes sense. Not only can you join and watch a lot of awesome mentors doing their studio work, you can check out a lot of awesome gear that you've just seen. You can have a beer with me and even win a desk like this. Beer o'clock at MetalCon. Thanks for watching. I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye. There's one thing I forgot to tell you. There will be another MetalCon, the second one, in Berlin in April. And this one's gonna be so much bigger. More rooms, more gear, more panels, more people, more fun. And I want you to be there. Join us and have some fun with us. In the meantime, I will release more videos from the last MetalCon, from all the masterclasses on this channel. There is already one video, I'll put a link below, of my guitar recording masterclass. Why don't you check it out? So yeah, just check out the links below to the videos we have and to the socials of MetalCon. Subscribe there so we can keep you informed. Yeah, and I hope to see you in Berlin next year. That's all for today. I think I already did the motherfuckers in hell thing, right? We don't need that again. I don't know what to say now. Tschüss.